Game 5 is upon us. The Denver Nuggets are getting ready to take on the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 5 of this first round series. Series tied at 2-2. Good news on the Nuggets front. We're going to talk about MPJ not getting suspended, how his importance to this team cannot be overstated. We're going to talk about the great article from Mark Spears about Aaron Gordon, detailing some of the just intricacies of his life since the passing of his brother. We're also going to talk about the Denver Nuggets starters. We're going to talk about the bench, who can step up for this game. And y'all, it's Jokic time, but it's also time for Jamal Murray. We're going to talk about all that and more here. Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Shout out to you all. So glad to be here with you. Man, this is going to be an exciting evening. I'm already ready for Game 5 tonight. But before we get started, y'all, today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox. No console needed. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. Y'all know what time it is. Playoffs are here. This is a 2-2 series, and from now on, it is the best of 3. Best of 3. You got to win 2 games. And everything comes down to this point. Who will execute? Who is willing to play physical? Who is willing to do the hard things? Diving on the floor for loose balls, rebounding on the offensive glass, rebounding on the defensive glass, not turning the ball over, sprinting to the corner in transition, sprinting to recover on defense, hedging well at the level, extending the ball handler as far away from the middle of the floor as possible, rotating hard and smartly weak side to stop the short roll. On the other side of the court, diving to the basket with a purpose. On the other side of the court, if you're setting a screen, you're setting a screen on purpose. Everything matters in these kind of playoff games. And when you get a Game 5 with 2 teams, that even as the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers are, it's all on the table. Everybody has a chance to contribute and to win, and that's what makes the NBA playoffs so great. The playoffs are amazing because in the playoffs, it's not about what you did leading up to that game. It's all about what you're going to decide to be right now and today. And so I can't wait for this game. And the Denver Nuggets got huge news. Huge news. Michael Porter Jr. is not going to be suspended. Per Ramona Shelburne, the rule says the NBA takes into consideration the distance the player traveled from his team's bench and the extent to which he entered the immediate proximity of the altercation. Porter did not go very far, nor did he enter the immediate proximity. He's listed as probable for Game 5, despite a grade 2 shoulder sprain. Y'all, that's really been the story, man. Michael Porter Jr., man, has played like a madman. Given the fact that, y'all, he has a separated shoulder, and even with that, even still, he's going out and giving the Denver Nuggets his very best every single possession. Porter, he might be a lot of things. He might be a shot creator. He might be, well, not a great shot creator. Might be an off-ball scorer. He might be a good rebounder, especially on the offensive glass for a wing. He has to rotate. He has to be able to play man-to-man. When they do double, he has to double correctly and not give gap too much on one side or the other so you can get around him. Porter has a lot of responsibilities for this team. And the Denver Nuggets, they need him. They need him to be fully engaged, fully locked in, because in these playoffs, the Nuggets just quite simply don't have the margin that the Los Angeles Clippers do. But the thing is, the Denver Nuggets, they struggled this series without him when he's not making shots. And then on top of this, if Porter is not in a position where he can play defense, it's a question. Now, here's the thing. If you look at PPP stats and it gives you what Michael Porter Jr. has meant to this team so far in terms of net rating, and then you can you can take out garbage time. The Nuggets are actually dominating the minutes where Porter hasn't been on the court, but that's because of the defense. If you look at the way the Clippers are targeting Denver, they're targeting Porter more than any other player on the court, really even outside of Jamal Murray, because even when you have Murray playing one-on-one, Murray is able to stay in front to a degree, but also you have so much length. Because now you got a 6'6", 6'10", 6'8", and a 6'11" player behind Murray. So it's just a different kind of defense. But even with Murray, Murray's just a better screen navigator than Porter. So if you try to run pick and roll, Murray and Jokic, they can wall you off and head you off. And then that way you got to throw the ball in. But then again, there are three tallest players other than Jokic. They're all going to be backline defenders. And so functionally, bringing Murray into the action as opposed to bringing Porter into the action, it creates different, distinct realities for James Harden or for Kawhi. But Kawhi doesn't even want doubled because he doesn't want to get doubled because he doesn't want to pass out of the doubles. Porter, last game, what made him so tantalizing for this team and what made him such a backbreaker for the Clippers is that, when his jumper is on, and everybody knows up here, he's a different kind of player. There are things that he does that just truly makes the Denver Nuggets much, much more unguardable than otherwise. And Porter, for all things, man, he had some really big threes in that game. He was 4 of 7 from the three-point line. The Nuggets were +2 with them on. He made some really important baskets. But again, the biggest thing is making sure Porter's able to hold up defensively. That's going to be the biggest story. But they're going to be able to help him with that as well. No update on Russell Westbrook yet. We have no idea what his availability is going to be. I can check real quick to see if the Nuggets official site has been there. But as far as I know, there's nothing new on Russ. Russ is dealing with a turned ankle. Like, that's just like, you just got to be careful with that. Especially, he's really important to this team, obviously, but you just want to make sure if you have to play an extended series, he's going to be there and be available. So just want to make sure that he's getting all of the assistance as he can and rehabbing and all that. But so some of this is, I'm looking forward to how Porter responds tonight. I'm looking forward to the intensity in which he does play with tonight. Because like I said, his shot making, if he's hitting his shots, that's going to make the Denver Nuggets just all that much more unguardable. Also, y'all, I want to give a quick shout out to Mark Spears. Mark Spears wrote a tremendous article on Anscape.com about Aaron Gordon. And just basically Aaron Gordon, ever since he has dealt with the passing of his brother, I believe, on the 30th of May last year in a car accident, and then him taking over some of the responsibilities for his 3 nephews that he has, and even assisting, obviously, with his brother Drew's his wife for his brother. And honestly, it was just really eye-opening. You get a chance to really tap into just how great of a person AG is. And I'm going to read an excerpt from this because I think it's important, for us all to just share about somebody I think we all love as much as we do, but also many of us call him Mr. Nugget. He's one of the linchpins of this city. No matter even if he's an athlete, he's still such an important part of what everything Denver does. Mark Spears quotes, in losing their superhero dad, they have leaned heavily into and on Aaron, who has welcomed them with his arms wide open. This is from Angela Gordon. There are truly no words to describe how much he means to me and the kids. He has been our light in the darkness. He has the most kind, giving, and selfless heart. He will and does do anything for my kids. And for that, there is no thank you that could ever be enough. Drew, Aaron Gordon's brother, would be so proud and honored to see Aaron and the boys together. And I know words would not suffice when it comes to the immense levels of gratitude that we have and feel for Aaron and the way he's shown up for our family. I mean, I'm telling you, man, like, I think Denver Nuggets fans, we are deeply appreciative of AG. We're deeply appreciative of the sacrifice. Aaron Gordon has had to deal with a lot of stuff this year, including just injuries and including an injury to the calf that he's dealing with right now to this day. He is still working through just having a banged up body, as well as carrying obviously a very heavy burden in his real life. And so what the great part about this team is that Porter was mentioned in the article. They're stepping up for each other and they're helping each other. They're encouraging each other. And I think some of that is bleeding out onto the court. And the one of the reasons I think this is important, because this spills into things like tonight. The team looks like they're in a place that they want to fight and battle with each other. And going into a game 5 I think that's going to make a world of a difference. So shout out to Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. On the other side, y'all, we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets starters versus the Denver Nuggets bench. Who on the bench can the Denver Nuggets turn to get Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Porter, and Brown just a little bit of rest? That way they come to the fourth quarter, they'll have a full tank of gas ready to lock in for a run. We'll be back for more here on Lockdown Nuggets. Y'all, did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. Now, that would be great, y'all. To be able to jump into your favorite Xbox title without needing your console in every single room, you just need to have your remote. And this is the great thing. Like, if you ever find yourself flipping between apps, you can find one place that everything works. With the Fire TV Stick 4K, everything all in one place from Netflix to YouTube and beyond. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third gen. Y'all, we'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. We're back here for the second segment of Locked On Nuggets, and shout out to you all. We have hit 10,000 subscribers on the channel. It has been a grind, y'all. Matt Moore, Ryan Blackburn, and myself are extremely indebted to you all for what you have done, the commitment you have shown to the show. But y'all, we're just getting started. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing right now. We want to get to 15,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers. This is just one of the milestones we have hit, and we now have 10,000 great Denver Nuggets supporters in the community. So thank you so much to every single one of you that made this happen, and all of you that are giving us the 5-star reviews. And go ahead, if you're on the audio side, give us another one of those as well, y'all. But the Denver Nuggets, y'all, we're going to have to be able to come to a certain place, y'all, where the starters can get some rest, in particular Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. They have to be able to get some rest at some point. Do y'all know that in 142 minutes this series that Jokic and Murray have played together, the Nuggets have a plus 8.68 net rating. They have a 122 offensive rating and a 113 defensive rating, basically. They're shooting 53.6% from two in those stretches and 41% from three. But when Murray is on the court with no Jokic, they have a 75 offensive rating. When Jokic is on the court with no Murray, they have a 63.89 offensive rating. And then when both of them are off the floor, which has happened at points in time this series, it's only 3 minutes, they're a minus 116.67. The Nuggets are getting demoralized when they are not on the floor together. And that is just something that is not tenable, I think, in every single game. So it's going to be incumbent upon the bench unit to find some way to survive. Now, if Russell Westbrook is back and available, that's going to make a big difference, really big difference. And some of this is just going to come down to, can you find ways to mitigate the offensive disaster that happens with no Murray and no Jokic? But then on the other end, can you continue to hold up defensively, especially in this series without Jokic? Because that is just the way. That is just the way that things are currently working with this roster and with this team. So we're going to have to get to this point where the team finds some way to be malleable without Jokic and Murray in the game. And I think that's really going to come down to Peyton Watson has to hit some shots today. Jalen Pickett has to hit some shots today. And then on top of that, you beat me to it. I think Zeke Naji, if they don't have Russ, Zeke is probably the best bet outside of Vlatko Chanchar. Vlatko has not played enough this year. immediately turned the ball over, dribbling the ball too much in the last game that he played in. And when a series is this tight, the Nuggets just don't have the room to be able to allow for the bench unit to completely take away momentum. So they're going to have to find ways for Pickett and for Watson and maybe even Julian Strawther if they have to bring him off the bench, but especially DeAndre Jordan. Because what's going to happen is because Ivica Zubac, as Ty Lue said, he can't match minute for minute with Jokic. That's just too much. But what they can do is when Zubac is in the game without Jokic, that's a big win for them. Because if he is, then that functionally changes just how the Denver Nuggets are able to perform because he's getting on the offensive glass. And that's where DeAndre Jordan comes into play. He needs to be able to secure offensive rebound. If the Nuggets can keep them off the offensive glass, that makes a huge difference in the game. And Zoo did a great job of that last game. And they got 4 to 6 extra points just off of offensive rebounding in the fourth quarter. And so if you can mitigate some of that stuff, you're going to have to try to find a way to do it. And so Jalen Pickett, if Russ plays, Peyton Watson, you just have to get some quality minutes. But also, too, you're going to have to adjust how Jokic is being defended. Now, when I say this is the reason why the offense starts falling apart with no Murray is because when they put Russ in and like Pickett or Brown and Russ, and it's Aaron Gordon and like Michael Porter or Peyton Watson, the Clippers are basically ignoring 1 to 2, at times 3 players on the floor. And so the offense can't get started because now Jokic is kicking it out to non-shooters, non-spacers, and they're not good enough shooters and play finishers to make up for the lapse of the offensive production that is now existing because they don't have a shot creator on ball. And they don't have a shot creator that's dribbling in actions with pick and roll, or even just a player hitting step back threes and stuff. Like outside of Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. is the only other player that has the ability to create a long distance jump shot at a high enough clip that really changes how the defense is guarding them. They're going under the screens on Christian Brown. They're going under the screens on Russell Westbrook. And Christian Brown's not making his threes. And again, this is another thing. On the defensive end, the Nuggets need to live with Dunn, DJJ making shots. That's just what it is. Again, in the playoffs, you have to take estimated gambles. You take estimated gambles in the playoffs, and a gamble for them is going to be, I am willing to bet that Kawhi Leonard and James Harden and Norman Powell can beat me more often than Chris Dunn and JJJ and Ben Simmons. So they're going to have to be able on both ends to find mixes and matches to where they're able to take advantage of the lack of floor spacers the Clippers have when they're out there, but also on the other end to make sure they're responding to the Clippers defense on them. And again, Chris Dunn went 1-9 last game. So the Nuggets got a 20-plus lead in the fourth quarter, and really at the end of the third, it was a 20-point game, and they let go of the rope because of fatigue. Now, the Clippers will probably have adjustments for Chris Dunn. So if Chris Dunn's not going to get guarded and he's not hitting shots, they probably will run some action off of Chris Dunn. I mean, what they could easily do, bring Chris Dunn up, have him set a screen, and then now you try to get a Harden switch on the Murray or Porter or whoever's guarding him, but then now you have to overhelp. Now Chris Dunn's in the short roll, or he's now located at the top of the key. He can decide to shoot, or you can drive and kick and create. Chris Dunn's also done a really good job on the offensive glass. So this is what I'm saying. Rebounding is not just up to Jokic. It's going to be up to Porter, who had 15 rebounds in game 2. It's going to be up to Gordon. It's going to be up to Jokic, Christian Brown, if Russ plays, Murray, Peyton Watson, all of them. You have to be able to corral around the basket and in those possessions. That way you can get down on the other side of the court and make smart decisions. Like, again, when the Nuggets are not rushing, like fast break and rushing are two different things. When the Nuggets are not rushing to get to a spot or get into a shot, and they're not falling victim to the way that the Clippers are guarding them, they've been able to score almost at will. The problem becomes is that when sometimes they get so sped up that they feel like they have to pass the ball here or shoot the ball here or do whatever, like playing within yourself with intensity, with efficiency, and being decisive. I think those are going to be the things that make today's game what it is. But y'all, on the other side, y'all, that's going to come down to Yoke. That's going to come down to Jamal Murray. And also, I'm going to give an official prediction on how tonight's game might go. We'll talk about all that and more here on Locked On Nuggets. Spring is here, and that means it's home project season. Whether you're refreshing a room or tackling a full renovation, WayFair is the best kept secret for all things home improvement. From small updates like stylish cabinet hardware to major upgrades like new vanities, sinks, and outdoor lighting, WayFair has quality products for every budget. Now, look, their free and fast shipping made it so easy. No hauling heavy items from the store. I love that they have top brands like GE and Moen at great prices. So WayFair makes home improvement easy. Get started now at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We'll be right back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the final segment at Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Shout out to you all. I'm so glad to be here with you today. So this game tonight, especially in the moments like this, the role players, you need to step up. They got to have one or two players off the bench step up. All that is known. We covered that in deep, deep breath. But this game tonight, Nikola Jokic, 36, 21, 8 and 2 last game. I would say Jokic, that's not even the best you can do. And he knows that. The team knows that. Jokic is averaging 28.5, 13.5, 10.8, and 2.3 steals in this series. 54, 48, 69 splits. That free throw line, Jokic, is going to be huge. Now, Jokic, over the last 2 games, he's shooting 8 of 10 from the free throw line. In the 2 games previous to this, he's only shooting 10 of 16. And in particular, in game 2, if he makes his free throws, the Denver Nuggets win that game. So Jokic's biggest thing tonight, he's actually playing some of the best defense he's ever played in an NBA playoff setting. And I know for some outside observers, that might seem hard to get and understand. Like, where is it coming from? But this year, if you just go to NBA.com, the Clippers are shooting 47.3% versus Jokic this series, and that is minus 6.8% worse than the expected percentage. He's arguably having his best non-finals defensive series of his career while being the best offensive player in the playoffs, I believe. So Jokic is having a really good series. If you look at the opponent rim field goal percentage and field goal attempts, him and Zoo are sitting right next to each other. Jokic is by and large doing a very good job to try to wall, contain, and contest. Wall at the hedge, contain at the level, and contest every shot. Wall, contain, contest. That needs to be his continual motive. And using his hands to pickpocket. All that stuff matters. The entire game matters. And I think Jokic is going to come out with the requisite energy to do that. But on the offensive end, some of this is going to come down to setting the tone. Now, whether it's the first quarter, the third quarter, or the fourth quarter, they're going to need one of them Jokic quarters. Last game, he had 16, 8, 4, and 1 steal, I believe, in the third quarter. And everybody started talking about it. What a most dominant quarter from Jokic. But Jokic is going to need one of those tonight, especially at home. Like, if you can give the team a lead at halftime, a lead going into the fourth quarter, that is going to do so much to get Jokic rest, Murray rest, Gordon rest, Porter rest, whoever. And that's going to help them to be able to make sure when they get to the fourth, they still have energy to do what they need to do. But also, y'all, Jamal Murray. I would say Jamal Murray has largely, in many spots, been pretty good in this series. Now, the last game is what really kind of ruined it a little bit. Jamal only had 13.7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. But, y'all, he's, in the game 1, he had 21, 9, and 7, 43% from 3, 35% from the field. Game 2, he had 23 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists, a steal, and a block. 53% from the field, 50% from 3 on 8 attempts. And then also he had 23 points and 4 assists in game 3. And then in game 4, 13, 7, and 7. And shot 29% from the field and 20% from 3. So Murray is going to have to be able to determine and dictate what the Clippers are going to have to do to guard him. And also be prepared. So I want y'all to take a walk with me. Go down to your memory banks. So fourth quarter, game 4. The Nuggets are up 20. They're up 20 plus. The Clippers go to a zone, and it's Kawhi Leonard and Bogey at the very top. And what they're doing is they're trying to press and contain Jamal and make him throw over multiple hands and multiple bodies. And Jamal did not handle that pressure well. From the turnovers to the shot. Now, he made 2 really big shots. He made a mid-range shot that was contested and then made an open 3-point shot. Those were his 2 buckets. But Jamal can do more. He can be even better. And especially if they're going to play that kind of coverage on you, the Nuggets have to be of the mind, okay, then rather going to drop Jokic and get him in the middle of the paint and then get him the ball and let him work, or we're going to move to the open spots on the court. Now, whether that's going to be, having Michael Porter Jr. or in the corner here, or Christian Brown or Russ, and Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown or Russ in the corner, and then Aaron Gordon in a dunker spot, or even if they are going to run that zone, Aaron Gordon, come up to the middle. Because it's Zubac and Chris Dunn that are playing all the way up here. And if they're going to send James Harden to go double whoever has the ball in the corners, then live with it. That's fine. Now, Gordon, you get the ball. Gordon, you get to the basket strong or you facilitate. Now, Kawhi's there and Norman Powell are going to be there. So how do you use your body, use your fatigue to dictate terms to the defense? That's the question. And I think they'll have the opportunity to do that. But some of this is going to be schematically David Alderman, who I did not think had a great game last game. You have to be able to recognize it and believe it in what you're seeing. And that's what I think is going to be able to boost them forward in this game. Is they're going to have to be able to see the zone, experience what everybody's doing, and then still off of that make the right reads and get to the basket or get open shots. It's all there in front of them. It's just a matter of accomplishing it. Y'all, by the way, make sure you get the likes up. Make sure you get the likes up, y'all. Go ahead and press that like button right now. So Murray, he needs a 20-point game. I would say 7-8 assist game. Hopefully his efficiency is going to be there. 3 of 7 from 3 would be perfectly fine for Jamal, especially that volume and makes. Nikola Jokic tonight, man, I'm going to say like 35, 36 points, 15, 16 rebounds, 7 to 10 assists, anywhere from 7 to 10, and maybe 2 steals. Like, he needs to be assertive as an offensive player and as a scorer. He needs to set the tone for the team. He also needs to take advantage of the fact that outside of Zoo, they don't have another big they can go to and get him into foul trouble, get Ben Simmons in the game. And then now we can go to work versus mismatches and doubles, like hard doubles. Jokic needs to be aggressive. So Jamal Murray needs to have a better playmaking game, needs to be more efficient. Jokic needs to be more aggressive as a scorer. But also, y'all, with the bench question that I answered earlier, I think I'll play Zeke in that situation. With Jokic and Murray, I think having more aggressive games. And then I even think Murray figuring out a little bit of like how they're guarding him. I'm going to say the Nuggets win tonight. Nuggets win 106 to 102. Nuggets win 106 to 102. All right. Now, let me do this math real quick. Nuggets are 5-0 in the past 5 game 5s. So that's going to be the Wolves, Lakers, Heat, Suns, and then the Wolves again. Okay, that's 5. That's 5 straight game 5. And then 10-0 during the Jokic era in game 5. So that's going to be so that's going to be the 3-2 series lead versus Spurs. That's going to be a 3-2 series lead that they dominated in, actually, versus the Blazers. Yep, with the 3-2 after that. And then the next one is going to be, so you got Spurs, Blazers, Jazz, Clippers. That's 4. Portland. They won game 5 in Portland. And then now you're going to go to Wolves. Yeah, so that's 10. That's right. That's actually, Giovanni, that's actually really interesting. I just now thought about that. I never even considered that before. But they're undefeated in game 5s. They do come out with the level of intensity from game 5. They do. So they need to bring that again tonight. The Nuggets need to make sure they're hammering home the defensive mechanics and physicality. They need to communicate, rotate. They need to make sure they're working on a string. They're playing very good defense in the series. Let's keep that up. And then tonight, 106-102 victory for the Denver Nuggets over the LA Clippers. Nikola Jokic, 35-point game. Jamal Murray, 20-point game. And everybody step in, do your job. And y'all can't wait. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. Y'all, let me know what you think in the comment section. Who wins? Who's going to be the MVP tonight? What do you expect from a bench? What do you think about Michael Porter Jr., the article from Aaron Gordon? Y'all know what time it is. This is Swiper. This is Locked On Nuggets. See you on the other side.